This is Lego SpongeBob, and in today's video I will build an entire Bikini Bottom in Lego. From SpongeBob flipping burgers at the Krusty Krab to some of your favorite buildings in Bikini Bottom. Now let's build. SpongeBob needs to earn money, and that's why he works at the Krusty Krab. So that's the first location we're building in Lego. First, I built the frame of the restaurant and added these doors with golden handles, just like in the show. I also grabbed these glass pieces and made two big windows in the front of the build. On the sides of the building, I used what glass pieces I had left in my collection and built the walls for this area. The Krusty Krab also has these big round beams on each side of the building, and because I don't have enough regular slopes, I had to build this upside down, just like Brad's brick post. So shout out to him. On the back side of the restaurant, I made a wall with gray and some rusty parts, because Mr. Krab saves money on everything he buys. There's also a back door, which has a small window and is fully functional. Every day, SpongeBob has to go outside and throw the trash away in this gross garbage container. And building this reminded me of the episode Missing Identity, where SpongeBob and Patrick go swimming in the trash. On the inside of the building, I built the wall separating the restaurant, and then I added the roof and placed a bunch of tiles and plates outside of the restaurant. Finally, I added the iconic sign, and now we can start working on the interior. First, we're filling the dining area. For this, I added a bunch of green tiles for the floor and some tables for the guests to sit. And now they can finally order their Krabby Patty at Squidward's boat bar, which I just grabbed from the original set. And I also detailed the window. And now finally, we can work on the famous kitchen. I added a grill for burgers and a shelf with some sauce. In the back, we can find a freezer full of ice and Krabby Patties. And SpongeBob has to make sure that he doesn't get stuck in there. And now that the kitchen is full, SpongeBob can make a Krabby Patty. Oh man, that looks delicious. After eating a bunch of Krabby Patties, the guests need to visit the toilet, for which I made this room. But I only have room for one toilet stall, so they're gonna have to wait in line. So I made the toilet with a gray base and this lifesaver. This will make sure you don't fall into the toilet. And after that visit to the toilet, the guests can buy more food, and Mr. Krabs earns way too much money. So I made his office with a desk, and there's a safe to store his money. After a long day of work, SpongeBob can go home. So now we're building the pineapple. For this, I grabbed old orange parts which I could find in my collection, and I upgraded the original set to a higher, better, and 360 degrees closed pineapple. The original windows looked goofy, so I added custom ones, and I gotta say, the big plant on top needs to be replaced. Therefore, I built my own version, and now the pineapple is complete. It works the same as an original set, but now you can open it up as a dollhouse. I also added two different floors. For the ground floor, we're building the living room, so I grabbed a couch from the TV from the set, but the green couch is missing. So I built it with some lime green and red parts, and then there's also this fish on the wall. And I made this funky design, which actually looks pretty accurate. I also added this bookshelf because it's a reference to SpongeBob's giant library, and this place always amazed me as a kid. The first floor is complete, so now we can work on the bedroom. Here, we can find SpongeBob's bed, and the original bed was the wrong color, so I turned it from blue into a white bed. Next to the bed, I attached this ladder with a diving board so SpongeBob can dive in his bed, and I made this giant alarm clock so he can wake up early. I also added Gary's food bucket so he can enjoy a nice meal in the morning. So SpongeBob gets home, he decides to watch a movie, but he can't find Gary, so he's gonna search for him. First, he will ask Squidward, and the set doesn't look like the show, so I'll build it myself. First, I placed the doorway, and then I added this nose as well as the eyebrow. Then I added the sides of the house by connecting them with an illegal building technique. Then I added some windows and a wooden door. And I gotta say, this looks fairly accurate to the show. It took me over 3 hours to design, and it's dark bluish gray because I only have a handful of dark blue parts. Now we can work on the interior, so I made this floor system which you can actually shove into the house. Downstairs is a bamboo chair along with a TV, and on the wall we can find two paintings of Squidward. On the second floor I added this luxury bed for Squidward, but he can't sleep because SpongeBob and Patrick are always laughing outside.
What do you want, SpongeBob?
For the uppermost floor, I made Squidward's music room with a music sheet and his clarinet. SpongeBob asks Squidward if Gary's there, but he's not happy with it, so he turns into a ninja. Next, SpongeBob will visit Patrick, for whom I built a giant rock using a complex building technique by Brick Studios. On top, I added the arrow, and now we can add it to the hole. The rock can even be lifted up, just like in the series, and Patrick sticks under it, which brings me back all of my childhood memories. And now let's throw away his old house. Inside, we can find a sand chair, sand lamp, sand TV, a sand plant, and a real Krabby Patty. Unfortunately, SpongeBob can't find Gary in here too, so Patrick decides to help him. He can't be at the Krusty Krab, but just in case, they check. He's not there, so now we must check across the street. The Chum Bucket. Okay, so the original set looks good, but we can make it way bigger. For this, I started building the bucket, and for the first floor, I made a couple of pipes for the walls. We can also see the dining area in the show, and I really wanted to build this in Lego, so for this I made some tables and stools, and now the guests can try the delicious Chum Bucket burgers. I can continued building the second floor, and here I added Karen, a burger analyzer, and in the original set we can find this pot thingy, which I also decided to use, so Plankton can give SpongeBob a full body scan. Also, there's this weird chair which I assume he uses for torturing Mr. Krabs. To finish off the chum bucket, I built the original glove and added a few extra Technic pieces to make it fit on this giant chum bucket I built. This is a way better version of the set, but now all we need to do is add this custom sticker which I made and it's complete. And now SpongeBob can ask Plankton if Gary's there, but he will only tell SpongeBob if he gives him the Krabby Patty recipe. Luckily, Patrick snuck inside behind Plankton's back, but Gary's nowhere to be found. Now that we've built some of the most popular locations in Bikini Bottom, I want to build some of my favorites. First, I want to build Mr. Krabs' anchor home. I personally believe that LEGO should have created this as a set way back. So I grabbed all of my black parts and started building the base, and made the living room with a white interior as a reference to the episode Wet Painters. There's this cool wooden door which looks quite similar to the one in the show. I continued building the anchor and had to restart building the left part a couple of times, but finally figured out how to design it. And I also built the right section, and then I built the middle section. On top, there's two round shapes along with this giant attachment for the chain, which was also quite hard to design, but I love a challenge. I added a golden fence and grabbed a couple of windows for the finishing touch. And now the building is complete. Inside, we can find the living room with a bunch of old junk. On the floor above, I built Pearl's bedroom with a pink bed as well as this phone on her nightstand. For Mr. Krabs' bedroom, I made this green race car bed, which you can see in the show. Then I wanted to make one of my favorite scenes from SpongeBob, which is Mr. Krabs showering in money. So I added this tub with a shower and let it rain. Finally, there's this room with a $100 bikini dollar bill on the wall as a sacred altar for Mr. Krabs to worship his money. Unfortunately, Gary is nowhere to be found in his house. Next up, we're building Glove World. So I made the entrance along with a wooden fence made of 1x1 cones. Inside, we can find an ice cream stand where you can enjoy your Bikini Bottom ice cream. There's also a spinning attraction from the original set. SpongeBob and Patrick go in to enjoy their day, but SpongeBob flies out. Now he gets taken to the hospital in this cool truck. For the hospital, I built the set, but grabbed another plate and made it even bigger. Inside, I added a wall so we can build a waiting room, with some chairs and a reception desk. And SpongeBob has to wait forever. Finally, it's his turn to enter the doctor's office, so they run some tests on him, and he gets fixed up for a search for Gary. Next, they're visiting Sandy, so I filled the basement with grass and added a giant tree along with this picnic table. To represent the helmets, I used the space minifigure heads, and now everyone can enjoy the picnic. I finished off the build by adding more grass, and unfortunately, I don't have enough pieces to build a dome, so this bowl will have to do for now. Okay, that doesn't work. Someday, I'll build it for real, I promise. Sandy tells SpongeBob she saw Gary near the jellyfish fields. So that's what we're building next, with some hills and rock work, and I also added some seaweed along with two of these big pink brick-built coral pieces because I don't have a lot of pink in my LEGO collection. And of course I added some jellyfish. SpongeBob and Patrick are holding nets as a reference to them catching jellyfish for jelly. Suddenly they see a trail and find Gary. After all this time, finally SpongeBob can take him home. And with that, we've built a bunch of buildings for Bikini Bottom in LEGO. So I hope you enjoyed this story and let me know which of these builds you enjoyed the most. If you want me to make a tutorial for each build, let me know in the comment section down below. And also watch this video because I'm always building something else in LEGO.